Hello, and welcome to this month's Pocket of PD. The topic is Tier 2 behavior support with a focus on the check-in, check-out intervention. My name is Jenny Fairbairn, and I am the assistant principal at Jackson Elementary. The objective for today is that you will gain an understanding of when a student might need Tier 2 interventions for behavior and which students would be good candidates for the check-in, check-out intervention. You will also learn about how to implement and monitor this intervention. Let's talk about who would be appropriate for this intervention. So it would be students who are in need of more intensive support than Tier 1 can provide. So here's a quote. It says, "Students who are loved at home come to school to learn, and students who aren't come to school to be loved." And this is just a reminder that sometimes all students are really looking for is positive interactions with adults and relationships that they can create that make them look forward to coming to school every day. Students who need Tier 2 support often have a lot of the same characteristics. These students often exhibit a missing skill or repeat a mild to moderate misbehavior. They have lagging executive functioning, meaning it's hard for them to be on time, or they're always losing their things, or their desk is a mess. They are not responding to in-class interventions, and they are seeking adult connection and attention. They tend to be impulsive, disorganized, and have trouble making friends. They often have academic deficits, perhaps because of their behavior or as a driver for their behavior. They might have habitual minor classroom disruptions. They often disregard instructions. They use inappropriate language. They can act out with their friends. They're frequently off task, and they might have poor attendance. Mentors for the check-in, check-out intervention should not be the classroom teacher. It should be someone who is preferred by the student or someone who has a positive relationship with the student. And it does not have to be a teacher. It could be a custodian, and anyone from the office staff, a para, a counselor. It can be any adult in the building with which the student has a positive relationship. The check-in, check-out intervention consists of three main components. The first component is the daily check-in. Students check in with their mentor at the beginning of the day or at the beginning of the class period, and the student sets their intentions and goals with their mentor. The next part is teacher feedback. Teachers will give students feedback throughout the day using a daily progress report, and that progress report can be customized to meet the student's needs. And then there's a daily checkout, so mentor and student will review the student's progress towards their goal for that day, and that will happen towards the end of the day. And then the last bullet point is data review. Data review does not happen every day. It will happen during MTSS when the team will talk about the data and decide if this intervention is working for this student or not. The next part is the why. So why do we use the check-in and check-out intervention? Check-in, check-out is an effective intervention because it connects students with a positive adult on campus. It helps them build a sense of belonging. It increases the structure of their day, and it also increases positive and corrective feedback for the student. It creates opportunities for students to build self-awareness and accountability, and it allows the students to learn how to self-monitor and self-correct their behavior. Another reason that this is an effective intervention is because studies have shown that students need a 3-to-1 ratio of positive to corrective interactions. That means for every corrective interaction that you have with a student, you need to have 3 positive interactions with them. For students who are really struggling with their behavior, this ratio may need to be higher, such as 5 positive to 1 corrective interaction, or even possibly 9 positive interactions to 1 corrective interaction. The last part is the how. So how do we implement the check-in, check-out intervention? There are 6 basic steps. The first step is to identify students who would be good candidates for check-in, check-out, and that was talked about earlier in the presentation when I outlined some common characteristics of students who would be a good fit for this intervention. Number 2, design and use some form of a daily progress report. You'll see examples of daily progress reports on the next few slides. You'll want to make sure that the progress report is customized to meet the student's needs, and it's okay if they all look a little bit different. Number 3, collect performance data. So the teacher will be holding onto those daily progress reports and will be tracking the data. Use a system that works for you. Number 4, determine response to intervention. This is when you will bring the information to the MTSS team, and this goes with number 5 as well. You're going to be using this data to make decisions. So with the MTSS team, you're going to be talking about the data and determining if this intervention is working for this student based on the data that you have, or if you might need to find a new intervention if it doesn't seem to be working. And number 6, plan for self-management, fading, and graduation. So if this intervention does appear to be working for this student, the idea is that there will be a gradual release of responsibility so that the student will eventually be more in charge of setting their goals and managing their own progress towards their goal. They should eventually be faded out of the program, and then there should be a quote-unquote graduation, which really should just be some sort of celebration to acknowledge that the student has done well with the intervention. Okay, so here is a sample of a daily progress report. This is a pretty basic report. It has the whole class expectations at the top, so be safe, be respectful, be responsible. And then on the side, it breaks it up into different parts of the day. So this is broken up into 4 different parts of the day. And then the teacher will rate the student in each area for each part of the day. There's also room at the bottom for the student to set a percentage goal. And then at the very bottom, it says, "I'm proud of you today because," and I think that's really important because if we're trying to increase positive interactions with these students, even if they didn't meet that goal for the day, we still need to try to find some way that they did something good that day, and we need to find something to be proud of them for. Here is another daily progress report example. This one is a little bit more detailed in the way that it, underneath be safe, be respectful, and be responsible, it shows a specific part of that expectation that the student's goal is. So under be safe, it says keep hands and feet to self. Under be respectful, it says follow directions. And under be responsible, it says use materials appropriately. Here's another elementary example. It combines the last 2 examples that I just showed. The reason that I'm showing different examples is because I think it's important to see different options and to also understand that it's okay to customize it to meet the student's needs. Here's a middle school example, so it's a little more basic and it's broken up into periods. So for each period, the student will get either a 3, a 2, or a 1. Here's a high school example, and it combines academic and behavioral components to help students manage their day. For more information about adapting this intervention for high school students, please refer to the resources page at the end of this presentation, specifically the Missouri PBIS website, and there's a section in that website called Adaptations for High School Implementation. Here are some resources that I found that helped me put this presentation together and will also be really helpful references for you as you implement this intervention. So this is the Branching Minds Tier 2 Behavior Intervention Guide. I got a lot of information from this guide right here. It's very helpful and it's very detailed. And then this Missouri PBIS website is very helpful as well. It has a lot of those daily progress report examples that I showed, as well as a lot of information for adapting this to meet students' needs. I'll leave you with this final thought. It says, every child you pass in the hallway has a story that needs to be heard. Maybe you are the one meant to hear it. Thanks for your time. If you have questions, please reach out. Again, my name is Jenny Fairbairn, and I've included my email down below.